anyone over the age of 30 to describe young adults, 3 words would come to mind: reckless, dumb, and short-sighted. But why is that? Today we'll be exploring the ideas of cognitive control and its development through the adolescent brain. We will be exploring our study to gain more understanding of the brain network organizations and its relationship to improvement in cognitive control.
Network organization is the formation of affiliated brain regions/networks. Network integration is the connections between the affiliated brain regions/functional networks. Cognitive control has been defined as the ability to execute voluntary and goal-directed behavior.
Here's a visual representation of what was previously discussed. Network organization is everything within the circles or the hub. Network integration is the connection between these two hubs or networks, as shown by the line that will connect the two circles.
Many previous studies have been done to characterize the different regions and functional networks in the brain. Approximately 20 different functional networks have been identified over the last 20 years, such as the salience networks, the visual networks, and the sensory networks. A network is defined by a dense area of neural activity in regards to function in the brain. Common belief that these functional networks change from childhood to adulthood. There's little known about the nature of these changes. This leads us to wonder if the changes in cognitive control through adolescence is due to network organization or network integration, and if these changes are in fact due to development across the lifetime.
The research objectives of this study were to identify whether age-related changes in functional networks are due to changes in network organization or changes in network integration, as well as to determine whether changes in network organization or integration are related to improvements in inhibitory control. We hypothesized that network organization would not change with age, but integration would, and that increases in network integration would result in improvements on inhibitory control. This is measured by the anti-Sacchi test.
One of the methods used to examine connectivity was a resting state scan. A resting state scan involves telling the subject to lie in the scanner and to not engage in any particular task. A resting state scan helps you examine connectivity when the subject is at rest by showing correlations and activation in specific regions. Graph theory was applied to analyze the amount of within and between network connectivity. In graph theory, a circle represents a node or a brain region, and a line represents an edge or a connection. We used an anti-Sacchi test in order to measure inhibitory control. In the test, the subjects were instructed to look at a central location in the screen. They were then presented with the stimulus to their left visual field. However, they were instructed to look the opposite direction. The sample consisted of individuals aged 10 to 26 with an N of 192. The subjects were imaged during 5 minutes of rest. We use the region of interest analysis technique. This technique involves beginning with a localizer task in which we activate a functional region of interest and then performing the experimental manipulation. This technique often requires a prior hypothesis and is not negatively affected by inter-subject averaging. Network integration was measured with the participant coefficient. This is borrowed from graph theory. Nodes that are only integrated within their network would have a PC of 0, and nodes that are highly integrated across networks would have a PC of 1. Therefore, the closer the PC to 1, the greater the integration. For example, in this image, nodes that are warmer colors have higher PC, and nodes that are cooler colors have lower PC. Network organization was measured using normalized mutual information, which measures how much information in one variable is also contained in another. An NMI value of 0 represents no shared information, and an NMI value of 1 represents completely shared information. For statistical tests, we use the Bayesian approach, which weighs evidence towards the null hypothesis to the alternative. We also use t-test with correcting for multiple testing with a bond for any correction, and we also subtracted average connectivity matrices. Lastly, in terms of measuring the anti-Sacchi test, we began by measuring the reaction time and accuracy according to the age of the participant. Then we tested the association between the integration of the CO salience network and the anti-Sacchi accuracy and reaction time. In analyzing the results of a study, it is important to investigate them in the scope of the hypothesis. The goal of this study was to investigate whether age-related changes in functional networks are due to changes in network organization or changes in network integration. The first key finding was that network organization is stable throughout adolescence. Through comparing the NMI values to the null distribution, it was evident that all values at most fell just over 1 standard deviation of the mean, thus indicating no significant changes in network organization from late childhood to adolescence. This rules out network organization as a factor contributing to cognitive growth in adolescence. Secondly, the results indicate that the developmental changes are primarily characterized by a shift from within network connectivity to between network connectivity, or a shift from specialization to integration, thus suggesting the importance of collaborative brain functioning. As illustrated by the graph, the blue line represents within network connectivity and the red line represents between network connectivity. Additionally, we controlled for the presence of distance-related changes and found that the Euclidean distance did not significantly account for the change in connectivity. Therefore, distance does not play a significant role in developmental connectivity strength changes. Fourth, we found that cross-network integration, mostly of the CO salience network, increases with age. According to graph theory, a node that is distributed across multiple networks can be regarded as a highly integrated region. The PC of the CO salience network significantly increased over the age range studied, optimally fitted with an inverse model. No other network displayed the age-related changes in PC. This supports the role of the CO salience network as having a role in cognitive control, as it displayed increased integration throughout adolescence. Lastly, it was the CO salience network that significantly moderated the robust effect of age on the delay in being able to initiate a control response. Successful response to inhibition has shown to improve throughout adolescence. It was evident that there was an inverse relationship between reaction time and age, and therefore the older the subjects were, the faster the reaction time. There was no significant association between the CO salience network and accuracy, but there was with reaction time. This suggests that the CO salience integration functions through decreasing the amount of time it takes to respond to an inhibitory task. The results show that as PC increased, the reaction time to the task decreased. In addition, it should be noted that from childhood to early adolescence, increases in regional integration were localized to the CO salience network. This pattern was not found in other age contrasts. When analyzing the results, it's important to do so in the scope of the original hypothesis. We hypothesized that network organization would remain constant over age, but network integration would increase, and that increase would result in an increased ability to exercise inhibitory control.
These results are important to this particular research area because it provides evidence that there's a period in childhood through adulthood that's characterized by increased network integration. In particular, the CO salience network, as mentioned before, continues to increase integration, thus influencing other networks and providing a mechanism for developmental improvements in cognitive control. This is in coherence with the larger literature. The evidence that the period of childhood through adulthood is characterized and increased through network connections. These findings support the novel two-stage model of adolescent brain development, which network organization stables prior to adolescence and integration continues to form across the developmental adolescent period, stressing the importance of network integration in adult-like cognitive control. In particular, the CO salience network, as mentioned before, continues to increase integration, thus influencing other networks and providing a mechanism for developmental improvements in cognitive control. This is in coherence with the larger literature. The evidence that the period of childhood through adulthood is characterized and increased through network connections. These findings support the novel two-stage model of adolescent brain development, which network organization stables prior to adolescence and integration continues to form across the developmental adolescent period, stressing the importance of network integration in adult-like cognitive control. There are three major design limitations within this study. The first one being because this is a region of interest study, there's some inherent knowledge lost about the bigger picture of the brain's function, as we're simply not looking at other areas of activation. The second ones are all the fallbacks that typically go with FMRI. The main one in this study being head motion artifact. The research took many precautions before the study and after the study to lessen the effects of head motion. It is very hard to have children sit still for any amount of time. Lastly, because of all the nodes and network, it is possible that some signal brain regions could be driven by this effect more than others. In the future, we can aim to map out how integration works within developing brains. We can also aim to elicit specific brain regions that drive cognitive control and see how the effects of maturation and integration affect different brain development, giving a rise to knowledge about specific functions of the brain in regard to how they change throughout the developmental